What's cracking? And as I always say, ain't nothing new under the sun, right? So, I got a little something I want to share with y'all because I really honestly feel like it's about time that we all stop living in this delusion and lying to ourselves about what's going on. Now, I know a lot of my peers out there do not live in sanctuary cities. I'm coming to you live and direct from the motherfucking Big Apple. Actually, the motherfucking X. I'm going to tell you and show you exactly what's going on in these sanctuary cities that a lot of y'all don't hear or don't know about. All right. So we're going to get straight to it. I'm going to throw this shit up on the screen and we're going to watch this together.
We just left the arraignment of Mr. Anatitla, who has been accused of murder in the second degree several times. This was really pandemonium. This was a burning fire. This was a fire that was on. This was a house that was on fire. And what led up to the fire is really quite disturbing. This is a man who we allege, walked in and out of a house several times before he went to a gas station, asked for a lighter after buying a beer, asked for a lighter, was told that the lighter cost money, got matches, went back. We allege that he put a piece of paper that was on fire into a garbage and just let it burn. And he intentionally let it burn. And 4 people were killed. 3 people died of smoke inhalation, including a 3-year-old child, by the way, who was in the house. There was one person who died because he was so dramatic and it was so painful that he jumped out the window and died from his fractures. 2 firefighters, a lieutenant, ran into the building while everybody was trying to get out, doing the job that they do every single day as firefighters to save people's lives. And they ended up in the hospital after the second floor collapsed and they fell through. So this defendant was remanded by the judge. We appreciate the fact that he understood the gravity of the situation, and we intend on moving forward, convicting him, and making sure that he's held accountable for one of the greatest crimes that this borough has seen in a very long time.
This is the subway station where Debrina Jawam was burned to death just before Christmas. Now, thanks to Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez and the NYPD, they were able to identify her, and her alleged killer is in custody. So we can now honor her memory, but the real way to do that is to make change so that people aren't killed on our subways. 10 New Yorkers were killed on the subways last year. That's not the city we want to be. Now look, that's out of more than 1 billion rides. More than 4 million New Yorkers ride the subway every day, but we've got to make it safe for all of them. That's why I'll be putting out plans to end street and subway homelessness and to keep New Yorkers safe on the subways and in their neighborhoods.
News tonight, an undocumented immigrant from Guatemala is charged with first-degree murder, accused of setting a sleeping subway rider on fire and watching her burn to death.
It's a terrible story that we're following tonight. Sebastian Zepeda was actually led out of the 60th precinct in Brooklyn today after being charged with 2 counts of murder and 1 count of arson. Police say that he walked on over to a woman and set her on fire with his lighter while she was sleeping on a subway car. MTA workers rushed to put out that fire, but it was just too late, and teenagers who recognized that man did call 911, which is how the NYPD were able to find him. How terrible.
I don't know what else to actually say to that, but it is what it is. And the reason I put the last clip in there is because that was a summer ago. Matter of fact, shit, it might be going on 2 summers now. But my point is this. This is not a new occurrence. This is not anything that just started happening. I mean, literally, ever since Mama Kamala, aka the border czar, left the southern border between the United States of America and New Mexico wide open under Papa Biden, aka Sleepy Joe, the human auto pin, right? Ever since they left that border open, and he told you, you want to flee? Come on, claim asylum. But when they claim asylum, they're allowed to get SNAP benefits. They're allowed to get Medicaid, Medicare. They're allowed to get housing, your and my tax dollars. So if you pay attention to the gentleman that was giving his talk, he tried to pass it off as if it was a homelessness issue. This is not a homelessness issue. Now, for me personally, because what I've been seeing and dealing with in my life in the last few years, from liberal non-profit but for-profit organizations like NYU, or non-profit organizations like 1199 SEIU, which is my union, which is going out there protesting against ICE. The NAACP, all these institutions telling you to go out and draw ICE. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be very clear. ICE's role is to remove individuals with no legal status in this country. The 2 individuals you just saw, if the law was adhered to and they weren't here, those 2 instances right there would have never happened. Those are 2 Americans, multiple American lives affected and gone. And it could have been avoided. I'm not saying we don't have our own issues, but we need to deal with our own shit and stop taking in everyone else's bullshit. I understand people might not like the way that it's being said, but facts are facts. And this shit can't be denied. And every time I talk about it, nobody wants to have this fucking conversation. It's like I'm saying the unwritten, unspokenable name that should not be spoken. This is affecting us because they're in our communities. All these migrant shelters are not in the white areas. They're in our neighborhoods. They dump these peoples off on Black American, the Solon, the copper color indigenous races, foundational Black Americans, whatever misnomer you want to use, but this is what the fuck it is. We need to get over this shit of letting them use our intergenerational trauma to manipulate us, because I'm telling you, I'm seeing it from all sides. And when I speak to my peers, because I live in a sanctuary city, so everybody outside beating their chest about, oh, we have this is not about immigration. And that's the problem, is that they're conflating the 2. And not only that, for the people who immigrated over here legally, why are you lumping them in with people that just ran across the border 5 years ago illegally? And trying to conflate the 2 and confuse the masses is diabolical, dirty work. But if y'all are not paying attention and picking up what the fuck they're putting down in your face and telling you, by the time you realize it, it's gonna be too fucking late. And I hate to have to say it this way, but we better wake up, and we better wake up fast. And I have to say myself, I had to learn a new lesson. I had to learn a new lesson about compromise. And honestly, recently, I compromised myself in a lot of the beliefs that I stand on for the overall betterment of the collective. And, you know, that is what it is. And we're definitely going to talk about that and get to it another day. But if we don't start taking care of us and start taking care of our communities, we're going to lose everything. So on that note, I'm going to get out of here. Realize, and transparency forces accountability. All I can say to my people is, I'm asking y'all, yo, please keep that fucking head on a swivel. Y'all keep your eyes to the stars. You keep that head on a fucking swivel, because they're playing a dirty, diabolical, dangerous game, and it's diabolical than the demons, aka the Viper's Pit. They're not playing fair, and they're lying to you from every which angle that they can to manipulate you and use your intergenerational trauma against you. Stop letting them play you out like you are the oppressed. You have control over your reality. You just gotta stand up and fucking do something. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's not. But believe me when I tell you, when you believe in what the fuck you're doing, you can get some fucking shit done, because I know that I have. And I know with just a small team, literally, what's his name? I think his brother's name is Joey Diaz, stand-up comedian. And he said something one time that stuck with me, and he was like,
you don't need 20 friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers and you can take over a country. Okay, that's what we're confused as Americans. We think we need all these motherfuckers. You give me 3 bad motherfuckers and you're finished. You understand me?
you need 2 or 3 solid individuals that are willing to go as far as you are, and you can get some shit done. And if anybody, and this right here is for my 1199 SEIU members out there, if you paid attention to what happened in the last election and what's currently happening out at Monte Fury, you'll be able to see it. But I'm gonna tell you this, if you move with apathy and act like you don't give a fuck, your spot's gonna get snatched. And by the time you actually realize it and decide to do something about it, it's gonna be too late. That time is now. You either get up or get fucked.